Riva Muma, a Jamaican love story. In the green rolling hills of St. Catherine, Jamaica, lived a young woman named Apple. Her beauty was known throughout the parish, with skin as smooth as the brown Neesberry and eyes as deep as the Caribbean Sea. Her laughter was the sound of a sweet breeze passing through the jackfruit trees, and her smile made the whole world seem brighter. She had many admirers, but it was Sean, a man from Kingston, who captured her heart. He was charming, with the kind of smile that made a girl feel like the only one in the world. Together, they would sit under the tall breadfruit trees, their hands entwined, as they sat by the Rio Cobre, talking about their future. For Apple, Sean was everything she had ever dreamt of. She would wait for his visits, counting the days until they would meet again. They promised each other the world, and Apple believed that her heart was safe in his hands. But love, as it sometimes does, hides its thorns beneath its sweet petals. Sean had another lover, a woman from Kingston, rich and beautiful in ways that Apple thought she could never compete. And while Apple believed his promises, Sean was planning a wedding to the woman in secret. The truth came crashing down on Apple on the cruelest day of all, February 14. Instead of the love-filled day she had imagined, she discovered that Sean had married his lover, leaving her with nothing but a shattered heart. The news spread quickly through St. Catherine. Apple couldn't bear to face anyone. Her heart, once full of hope, now felt like a stone sinking to the bottom of the ocean. Unable to hold back her tears, she fled to the only place where she had always found peace, the river banks of the Rio Cobre, near Flatbridge. The water, which had once brought her joy, now seemed to reflect her sadness, and she sat there crying until the evening light faded into darkness. As Apple wept by the river, she became aware of an old woman standing in the shadows, her face half hidden beneath a wide straw hat. Her voice was soft but commanding, like the rustle of dry coconut leaves in the wind. "Ya cry? A ball, ya ball. Ya ball over the wrong thing, me dear," the old woman said, stepping closer. "Tears not change man heart. Man a wicked." Apple, startled, wiped her tears and looked up. "How are you?" The old woman smiled, a thin, knowing smile. "That no matter. What matter? I say me know what you want. You want peace. Me can give you freedom from the pain, you know." Apple sniffled. Her curiosity piqued despite her sadness. "What you mean?" "Love no good for you no more," the woman said, her voice low and persuasive. "You give your heart and it get mashed up. Me can make you forget all of that. Come live in the river, free from love, from earth, from the wicked man them who love take you for granted." Apple's breath caught in her throat. She glanced at the water, the moonlight glimmering on its surface, reflecting the turmoil in her heart. "Live in the river?" The old woman nodded. As a Riva Muma. You will never love another man, never feel pain again, but you will have power. Power to demand from the world what it took from you. Every year, you can call on the river and take what you need, a sacrifice. Blood for the blood you shed in tears. Apple hesitated. The pain in her heart felt unbearable, and the thought of never feeling it again tempted her. "What me have to do?" "Say the word," the old woman replied, her eyes gleaming. Blinded by grief, Apple nodded yes. The moment she spoke, The air around her shifted. The cool, soothing breeze turned cold, and the river began to churn, its once calm surface swirling. A strange energy surged through Apple's body. She felt cold, then numb. She looked down and gasped as her legs fused together, transforming into a long, shimmering tail covered in turquoise scales that gleamed. Apple had become a mermaid. Her heart, once filled with love, hardened into stone. The pain of her betrayal disappeared, replaced by a chilling emptiness. She slipped into the water, feeling its embrace like never before. From that day on, Apple haunted the Rio Cobre and Flatbridge, her once loving spirit now cold and vengeful. Every February 14, the anniversary of her heartbreak, she demanded a blood sacrifice. Anyone who dared to cross Flatbridge would hear her haunting song, drawing them to the water's edge, where the river claimed them as payment for Apple's eternal suffering. The people of St. Catherine and Kingston feared the day, knowing that Apple's wrath would take someone, be it man, woman, or child. Her song became the whispered warning passed through generations. Beware at Valentine's Day, no good on a Flatbridge, no good on there. Years passed, and Apple remained in the river, content with her curse. She had long forgotten the warmth of love, until one day something changed. As she swam beneath the surface, she heard a melody drifting down to her from the riverbank. It was not the sorrowful cries of another victim, but a sweet, uplifting song. Apple rose to the surface, and, hidden among the reeds, she watched a man sitting by the water's edge, strumming a guitar. He was a Rastafari, with long, flowing dreadlocks that danced in the wind. His name was Mokwe. He came to the river every day to write songs. His voice was deep and rich, like the scent of ripe mangoes on a hot day, and his lyrics spoke of peace, love, and hope. He didn't know Apple watched him, but his songs began to reach her in a way she had never expected. For the first time since her transformation, Apple felt something stir inside her, a warmth she had buried long ago. Day after day she watched Mokwe from the water. His songs filled her with a sense of longing, and she found herself thinking of him even when she wasn't near the riverbank. His presence disrupted the icy grip that had held her heart for so long against her will. Apple began to feel again. She began to care. But the old woman was watching. She knew of Apple's growing affection for Mokwe. She was enraged. One evening, as Apple lingered near the riverbank, she felt the presence of the old woman. She heard her materializing from the mist that rose from the river. "You think you can fall in love again?" the woman hissed, her voice sharp like the crack of bamboo. "You belong to the river now. Love enough for you." Apple flinched. "Me don't want love. Me just enjoy the music." "You can't tell me no lie." The old woman's eyes gleamed with malice. "You start think about the man. You think about the life where you want to give up. But you forget say, and me make you strong. You forget your promise. If you betray me, I take way more than your heart. Me I go take fame life." Apple's heart, now softened by Mokwe's music, trembled at that threat. "Me no want you to hurt him." "Then kill him before you grow weak again." the old woman snarled. "Kill him, or the river got drowned him." The air around them grew thick with tension, the river churning in response to the old woman's anger. Apple knew the power the old woman had. She had seen it before, the way the river had claimed so many lives, pulling them into the depths with a force no human could resist. She thought of Mokwe's lifeless body sinking into the dark waters, It twisted something deep inside her. "Me nah do it," Apple said, her voice trembling with resolve. "Then you will lose everything," the old woman spat, raising her hands to summon the river's power. The waters began to rise, swelling around Mokwe's feet as he sat on the riverbank, oblivious to his danger. "No!" Apple cried, diving into the water, her mermaid tail propelling her toward Mokwe with lightning speed. The river roared around her, the current pulling at her with fury as she fought against it. The old woman's laughter echoed through the air as the water began to engulf Mokwe, dragging him under. Apple reached him just in time, grabbing hold of his arm and pulling him free of the river's grasp. But the old woman was relentless. She called the river to rise higher, the water swirling into a massive wave that threatened to crash down on both Apple and Mokwe. In that moment, Apple knew what she had to do. Summoning every ounce of strength she had left, she turned on the old woman, her voice ringing with defiance. "Me nah make you take him! Me nah make you win!" With a powerful surge, Apple unleashed the force of the river against the old woman, turning the current against her. The old woman shrieked as the waters engulfed her, dragging her down into the depths from which she could never escape. As the old woman's cries faded into silence, the river calmed again. Apple, breathing heavily, looked at Mokwe. Mokwe saw that Apple was very weak, so he mixed some herbs that he always carried with him in his bag. He also always walked with a coconut shell. Apple watched, wondering how Mokwe knew how to do all this. Mokwe learned these teachings from his grandmother, who was a maroon. He also learned these very important survival skills from his Rastafari upbringing. Apple watched in awe. After finished mixing, Mokwe fed the mixture to Apple. As Apple drank, something miraculous happened. Her shimmering mermaid tail began to fade, replaced by human legs. Her body transformed back to the way it had been before, and she was no longer bound to the river. Apple had reclaimed her humanity. Mokwe, who had fallen in love with the mysterious woman who saved him, smiled at her, his heart full of gratitude and affection. Together, they left the river behind, their love now free of curses and pain. Apple and Mokwe married under the canopy of towering coconut trees, surrounded by the sweet scent of sense herb and the laughter of family and friends. Mokwe's music reached the ears of the world, and he became a world-renowned reggae star, known for his songs of love, peace, and resilience. And Apple, she stood by his side, her heart healed, knowing that true love could conquer even the darkest of curses. The moral of the story is simple. Love conquers all. And the music, the reggae music, has the healing. No matter the obstacle it faces, love will always conquer all. Even in the darkest moments, love has the power to heal and set us free. The end.